Hi everybody, this is Roberto from Passione Strumenti and we are here in Milan today in Nebula Studios with the great Igor Saavedra, that's my friend, and a great bass players from the south of America, Chile.
Oh, ciao Roberto, ciao a tutti. I'm very happy to be here in Italy, in Milan, and at this great studio Nebula. I thank everybody, especially GR, for bringing me here, and Roberto as well for being so nice with me all the time. He's an excellent person and a great bass player, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Igor. Coming from you, that's an honor for me. I would like to ask you some questions about yourself and your playing today. So, first of all, I heard you were a kung fu instructor back to, I don't know, you were 22.
Yeah, no, I was very young when I started with Kung Fu, and I was 11 years old.
Oh, 11.
And I went all the way through till I was 21, approximately. So at the end, I was already an instructor. Sometimes the master of the school was not going, and I was in charge of the whole thing. When I was ready, not in the beginnings.
All right.
So it was really an important part of my life, previous to bass.
And what was the moment you realized music will be your path?
Yeah. Well, my story is a little bit weird. I had nothing to do with music really till I was 22 years old. And I was studying Kung Fu, as I told you, but I was also studying to become a PE at the university, physical education teacher. I was in the last year, or 6 months away to finish, to graduate. And I wanted to study that to be a better Kung Fu instructor, to be able to have my academy with a diploma that I'm also a PE, which is better for business, and ready to go to China to do the last degrees of Kung Fu in Fujian, in a city of south of China. And that was my life till there was a little concert at the campus of the university I attended. It was lunchtime with my hot dog. I sat on the floor and they started playing.
At that time, you
Nothing.
Didn't play bass at all.
Music. I mean, music is not sport. It was all about sport for me. So the music started to sound, and then something happened to me. Something I cannot explain. Very strange, I would say.
The magic of music.
I started to feel some anxiety and started crying, in fact. And in a moment I said, man, this is what I am, really. What is this? And specifically one instrument. More than all the music was great. Now, I mean,
who knows which of that? Who knows what instrument were?
Yeah, that instrument. I mean, that instrument, which happened to be a bass, but and they were playing. Now I know. They were playing Weather Report.
Oh, wow.
So I was lucky because it could have been whatever trap shit. Sorry.
Do you remember what was the song?
Many. They were playing a concert, Birdland,
all weather report
songs, but from a very good Chilean band that now, years later, I knew who they were. They were great musicians, all of them. I was lucky. These campus concerts at the universities, So I was lucky, but in this very moment, I went away from the campus. I grabbed my bike. I turned around and I said, that's it.
Wow.
I didn't graduate. And this very day at night, I had a bass and I didn't have a bike because I traded my bike for a bass.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, and everything started.
Great story.
I'm a self-taught guy. I did have to study on my own because my family wanted to kill me, really.
Okay.
After quitting
university. We have something in common.
Okay.
Okay, so this is an amazing story, and I would like to know about the extended range bass. So how about the 8 strings? What was the first time you realized the bass you would need, it would be an extended range bass?
Well, it was an ongoing process, really, because I started to play 6-string bass. First 4 for 2 years, then 5 for 1 year. And then I realized I wanted a 6-string because I have very small hands. We have done the trick. We can do it again.
Yeah,
We're going to
okay.
be famous.
See?
See?
You
And
can zoom here.
I'm 1 meter 85, and you are 1 meter.
70.
You see, and his hand is way bigger than me. My hands are small, so I needed. That's why I was looking for more strings, because doing this. So sorry with the mic. Doing this is way harder than doing this. So it was very good for my hands. So I had what was called back in the days an extended range bass. In 1990, I had a 6-string. First one in my country, and maybe first one in South America. Maybe, I say. For sure in my country. And it was a lot of rejection about the 6-string. Nobody liked the 6-string. It's too much. Back in 1990 in Chile, which is a country that is not the same as Europe. There's a small opening here, but not in there. So 6-string since from 1990 to 1999, when I realized I needed something more.
So you've been playing 6-strings bass guitar for
9 years.
9 years.
Yes, 9 years. I was living in the US. I moved to the US in 95, just playing and teaching in the US with a visa, very legal. And in a moment I said, okay, I need one more string or whatever. And I realized the 7-string already existed, by the way. And the 9-string did exist too, but not the 8-string. So there was a window of opportunity as well, because I could be the first 8-string bass player in the world, maybe. I know about nobody playing 8-string. So I went for it. I designed my first, and I ordered the bass to a luthier who sponsored me. So that's the beginning of the story.
Okay. And why in playing it helps? How it helps to have 8 strings on a bass?
Because of what I say, if you want to play, let's say, a 9th here.
Okay.
It's not the same as going all the way. You go back. It's way closer.
Yes.
Look at that. That's a 9th for the ones. If you don't know about music, it doesn't matter. That's the same 2 notes. So they're very close, you see? It's not the same as this. That's
same
a good,
note, different
position. This is not as extreme. You can do it with more extreme fingerings. And the benefit of having more strings is very clear. Also the timbre, the sound. So this I showed that yesterday on the clinic. Listen at how this chord sound. It's a little darker, you see?
Yes.
This is brighty.
Yes, it's way.
So you have more possibilities, timbre possibilities too. I play solo bass, maybe you will ask me about that, but it helps because also to play melodies and bass and chords at the same time, you have more range, you have more possibilities.
Okay. How about your own technique? Because it's very peculiar, it's unique, and I know its name is vertical synthesis.
Vectorial.
Vectorial synthesis. Yeah, I confused with vertical because it's really vertical.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It also works.
Yeah.
That mistake is a good mistake.
Okay, but it's the synthesis, vectorial synthesis technique.
VST.
So, could you talk about this?
In the simplest way, it's about saving movements and being efficient with the technique. So the best example I always give is if you play a C major scale, you count 8 notes, and I ask the audience always, and they say, how many notes, how many movements, sorry. They say 8 movements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Obviously, I count 8 notes.
Everybody counts.
So I think eight movements,
yeah,
right?
Sure. And in reality, they forget about this part, which is also a muscle contraction, is also a movement, but it's lost.
Yeah, up and down with
This
with
up,
the finger.
no note, nothing, note. So it's 100% inefficient. And I realized that because I studied physical education, and in a moment I was suffering a little bit trying to play the Flight of the Bumblebee back in 1990.
Yeah, there's a record about that.
I did it in 97, full notes. There's no record of something previous to that. Note by note, no legatos, nothing. It's in the internet somewhere.
Yes, it's on YouTube as well.
Yeah, with a drummer, great drummer from Slovak, Jan Fabriki. And we recorded that in 97. I did it just to prove the efficiency of the technique. So it's 16 movements for 8 notes. And a guitar player with a pick, you count 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes.
8 notes, 8 movements. So it's 100% efficient, square. Fair square. But if you advance a little bit more on the movements, you can. I was studying about Frankenballet technique back in the days, the sweep picking. So you count 1, 2. This is one movement. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have 6 movements now for 8 notes. And if you order the fingers like this, you can add even more notes with the same movement.
Okay.
Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. This is one movement. You hear two things here, two things. But it's one, but like it's one movement.
Drum flam.
Yeah. So that's the general concept. It's not about sweeping everything. You can sweep or not, unless you keep the premise of saving movements. You don't necessarily have to sweep everything. You can also make one movement without sweeping and having more than one note. But it's too long to explain on an interview.
But it's okay. I see it's like the natural movement of the hand, right?
Yeah.
When you close the hand.
Of course.
It's similar.
It's kind of similar, but it's a little like that more because this is the opposite. So I go like this, and if you count, for example, Matt Garrison technique has a connection with this. What I did is to systematize the thing, be more systematic, order everything.
Okay.
So this, you count 4 notes, 2, 3, 4, 1, but you have 2 movements, 1 and then 2. 1 movement, 2, and of course you speed it up, and you have.
All right.
So, but really you hear 4 notes, but I'm moving the hand only 2 times. With this technique, would be 16.
Yes.
Of 8 instead of 2.
It's a really economy of movement.
A lot.
Right.
So it's not about playing fast. It's about playing the same. Of course, it allows you to play insanely fast, but really the goal is playing what the music requires as much as relaxed as possible.
Okay. It's a really interesting technique.
Yeah, and you can play whatever, walking, doesn't matter. You can play whatever you want, really.
Okay. And how about your way of concepting rhythm, of rhythm? I heard you have studied rhythm of the countries in Latin America. So which of that rhythms is the one you use the most in your songs?
That's a heavy question. Really, I don't have one that I use more than the others in my songs. My songs are very eclectic. Some use Venezuelan rhythms or Colombian or Bolivian rhythms or Argentinian rhythms, Chilean rhythms, Peruvian.
So it's a melting pot of all of
these
rhythms.
Yes, Uruguay. It's depending on the song. I apply certain rhythm because the rhythmic aspect of Latin American music is very incredible. We have a lot of music in the rhythmic aspect is the most important because music, in terms of harmony, is very simple harmonically. the Latin American music. So you have to, I think the best blend is take South American and Latin American rhythms, which nobody knows really in Europe. Nobody knows in Europe or in America. You know more about bossa nova, samba, or rumba and salsa.
Yes,
but these are two countries.
I think for us is all that samba, rumba,
but this is
salsa.
1% of what we have in South America or Latin America. So I take the rhythm aspect, which is super rich, and the harmony of jazz, R&B, this vibe, and the blend is super good for the bass specifically, which is a very rhythmical instrument.
Oh yes, yes, of course. And one very last question: how about the future? What are your future projects?
Well, I'm finishing the composition of a coming album, which is called Organic Bass 2. I have an Organic Bass 1, so this will be Organic Bass 2. It's about solo bass playing, which is my thing. My thing is, of course, the 8-string bass with a specific technique, but the most important thing to me is solo bass more than playing an 8-string. And the Latin American music on my speech. So this is in what I do. And the second album should be, the composition should be ready at the end of the year, I hope. It's taking me a little bit longer than I wanted, but when it's ready. And then I record. This is of course I have more things coming and more projects coming. Touring and some concerts, and this doesn't stop, never stops, but specifically album coming.
Your music. So we can't wait to hear all of this.
Yeah, you will. Just wait a little bit.
Okay.
And for people who is interested in music and is not making too much of a prejudice of a 8-string bass because it has too much or too many strings, and is focusing on the music and what it sounds, will be important. Specifically, I have a project with the great extended range bass player Yves Carbon from France.
Oh, wow.
We are very friends. I was in Bordeaux 1 week ago. I met his family. I mean, he got a theater for him and for me, private. I mean, the stage of the theater just for him, and we were the whole day playing together and knowing each other, and the music that came out was incredible. So it worked out at the personal level, at the musical level. So things are coming. We are gonna it's very probable that we are gonna make a tour of 2 basses.
Oh wow!
A lot of strings on stage.
Oh wow! I know Yves Carbon. He's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, the intonation and the sound he has are
with the fretless as well.
The sound is great, and we blend great because he has a different sound than mine. It's a fretless.
Yes.
So we don't step on the toes of each other. We are playing at the same time, but you hear both basses.
Okay, so we can't wait to hear these as well. And
thank you,
Igor. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I am really honored and so happy to have you here today. Ciao Passione Strumenti, ciao a tutti gli amici di Passione Strumenti.
Ciao,
Igor
Passione
Saavedra
Strumenti.
oggi con noi,
And
è stato un piacere. E GR Bass. Ciao!